Okay. I already introduced the other day. So I want to finish that two quotations, and then got some basis to meditate. I'll end this. I mean, there are many other quotations and many other logics. So the way I begin, so there, sorry. So this becomes a great introduction, because of the whole thing, because of your whole world, what everything, people, place. I mean, form, sound, smell, taste, tangible object, what appeared, and the mind. Yeah, that's what that believing is what is true, and the concept, and the ignorance, and so including your eye, everything false, nothing true, everything false. But we've been 100% believing it's true, then we are living the life. We've been living the life from beginningless rebirth, not only from this morning, not only from birth, from beginningless rebirth. We've been living life like that, in hallucination, total hallucination. So only when you recognize the object of reputation, and then especially realize emptiness, then I, including I, then others, then you know it's not true. So far, all you've been believing day and night all the time, from not only from this morning, from birth, not only that, from beginningless birth, not true. Then sorry, for even lower bodhisattvas, it becomes an unbelievable shock. Unbelievable shock, fear, and then as I mentioned before, there are higher intelligent bodhisattvas. Then unbelievable happiness, tears come, hairs upon the forehead, and I think one. Well, I know. One monk from Shine land, he had that experience. Like the high bodhisattva. Right. The intelligent bodhisattva. Yeah. So the so because of the basis of that. Because of the like the dream, didn't recognize that this dream, so believing real, appear real, believing real, as it appeared, or exactly like that, daytime our life, when we were not sleeping, exactly same, not a dream, it's not a dream, exactly, like dream, but of course, for meditation, if you think a dream is better, maybe more effective for your mind. Yes, it's like dream, but you see, but I think for meditation to help your mind, I think there's even daytime life dream. Continuously practice mindfulness dream. You see, whatever happens in a dream is not real. It doesn't real from there. So it's very extremely useful. Especially when there's danger to rise at strong attachment and strong anger, or you see due to condition, somebody, you encounter somebody who doesn't love you, or somebody who abuse or whatever, what you call bad thing. So that what makes it so angry, that or somebody give a present or something makes you to so happy or to rise so much attachment or like that. So those times so solution that I was really went to emptiness. So as it appeared, it doesn't exist. So there's no such thing. Sorry. Yeah. So the there's a mind focus on the value-based aggregates. Then that same condition mind, that mind merely impute I. Level I, merely impute I. Not even the Prasangikas view, not Svatantrikas view, not even that. Labeled by mind, but it exists from its own side, not that one. Not that one at all. Not that one at all. So what Prasangikas I mentioned, you see, when the I appeared back, that I meant that you are merely imputed in my mind when it appeared back. In your view, there's all the wrong views. I told you already. All the wrong views up to the Chiramewa, Dodepa, mindfulness goes, Tamba, then Omapa, then the Catholic, then Prasangikas, Svatantrikas, so attached to Svatantrikas Prasangikas, so Svatantrikas Ramjipa, so then Catholic. It is labeled by mind, but it exists from its own side. Two things, both are sorry. So that is, you see, that is totally exact that objective reputed because Prasangikas view, objective reputed. It's a level of our mind, but it exists from inside. Probably that fits. But probably that fits more. For example, religion asks, we might accept that more. I think probably when you don't think well details. So of course, if you think in details, it's merely imputed by the mind. Prasangikas view. So I thought Svatantrikas view, that is a label by mind, but it has to exist from its side. So that's, I think, for us probably easy to accept that. So the Prasangikas view, Prasangikas view is very subtle, so it's difficult. When you think it exists as mere level of my mind, that kind of like looks like it doesn't exist. So you fall in nihilism. So it becomes so subtle, so you fall in nihilism. Like many learned meditators in Tibet, it happened like that. Either fall in externalism or fall truth exists and fall externalism or nihilism. So the Svatantrikas view exists labeled by mind, but also exists from the side. Oh, that is exactly object to be repeated. The account of Svatantrikas. No, Prasangikas. So that is the view of the Svatantrikas. Svatantrikas. That is the view of the Svatantrikas. Also, that's the exact object to be repeated by the Prasangikas school. That exact. So that is what we realize. Totally do not exist even even atom. Nothing there. So that's why the way that I exist is only mere so the mere imputed by mind. In mere name, in the existence of the mere name. As a mere name or merely labeled by mind. Mingi pataktam, so only that. So it's unbelievable subtle, most unbelievable subtle there how the I exists, not only the I, the whole phenomenon, the whole exists. What appears or there, everything what is merely labeled by mind and because it exists, so it appears. So you see, even though it appears to our ignorance, to hallucinate mind, truly existing from inside. And as I mentioned to you, due to the negative imprint led by ignorance, due to samsara, holding things, I and things that truly exist, holding I and aggregates that truly exist. So so if I give you one, I don't know what. So one time I was doing Hiruka, a 5-day retreat on the Capon Hill. The one German student called Dieter, not the monk, not the ex-monk Dieter, not the one. He was supposed to build a stupa on the mountain, and then he said the person who builds a stupa has to have a room to live inside. So he built a small room, by collecting pieces of things around Kapal Mountain. They built a small room. So I went. Even though I had a room in Kapal Monastery, the old Kamba, room, but I went to his room to meditate on the top of the Kapal Hill. So I wanted windows very low, and the only thing that he has, we don't have here, is the lights. There's a few lights in the room, which we don't have here. But like retreat, very kind of small, and windows low, and all of that, yeah. So I did Hiruka Bhattramanda there during Lama's time. Then after that, the 5 days. So in way part, Kaswante, so one kind of experience was so the there's no I from the aggregates. There's no I from the aggregates at all. But there's an I on the aggregates. By mind, I think. By mind, from the mind, no I from the aggregate, but there's an I on the aggregate. So like that. So the I, what is now you see the I which is on the aggregates, if you analyze mid-level I or real I. So it's the real I, not mid-level I, real I. So I checked with His Holiness. His Holiness said, His Holiness, to I don't know, or to flatter or to to energize my mind. So to not to get depressed or to energize. So that's the understanding of the Prasangikas view, emptiness. Then I asked the essential Rinpoche, and Rinpoche said that is the understanding, reality, or the understanding of the Svatantrikas view. That is the understanding of Svatantrikas view. So you see the mistake, what happened is that, so you see the I on the aggregates, so powerfully, by the, I think by name or by mind, I think I'm now liberally forgetting my mind. And so you see, so real I there. There's no real I from the aggregates, but there's a real I on there. So the mistake that doesn't become the view of the right view of the Prasangikas is because the I is real, not merely labeled by mind, real. Oh, that's blocked. Oh, so you see what you realize, there's I there, there's I, but there's I, because there's base, so there's I, you see, that which is existing in my name. So you have that's missing. So, then that should help you. Because you see that thing. There's a real on that. That's wrong. That is wrong. So say. Yeah. So so the I focus on the world best I get, then merely input to the I, that mind merely input to the I. So what is the I? Is the most extremely subtle phenomena. No way the real I. There is no real I. So if you check, Oh, sorry. And then that's the reality. So then next second, split second, then when it appear back, what's the million image in my mind per second, short time, the second short time, then when it appears back to the mind, to your hallucination mind, then it appears not a million level of my mind. Totally opposite to what just happened a second before, I mean, it's short second. So, total opposite. So, not only that, then, more growth. Then the person, Svatantrikas view, it's a label, but it exists from inside. So let's see. So not really labeled by mind. Yeah. But then there's the mind-only school object to be reputed, and then after, but because the Svatantrikas wrong view, then Prasangikas wrong view there. So it's all that, as I explained the other day. So even the very gross one, impermanent, appearing permanent, existing alone, without different parts, and then existing with its own freedom without different cause conditions. As a controller, doesn't think it exists on the aggregates, and then as a controller, as a king's controller. Doesn't depend on population, King country, it exists from inside, kind of controller. So that's self-sufficient. So all the wrong views there. So when that appears back, when the eye appears back. So so you see, so you see, yeah, then Kasture, you see, so the Kasture, then the conception, the Zimba, Shepa, non-phenomena, and your object, and so form, sound, smell, taste, tangible object are all real one. Just like the eye, then I see appeared everything from its own side. So everything appears real, not merely level of my mind. So you have a total hallucination. You have a total hallucinated life. So you go to kindergarten, so during kindergarten, so everything real. Then you go to college, say school, secondary school, college, and the university. All that. Then you see all that in hallucination. Then you actually, as you grow up, then actually, then real I, and then real enemy, real friend, real stranger. This is all totally is not there. As real I is not there, some real enemy is not there, real stranger, real friend is not there. So anyway, then then this real I get married with a real husband, real wife, and then you get real children, which is not there. So, the real father, real mother, a real house, real poverty, real car, real swimming pool, real TV, everything not there. Oh, not there. So same thing as well. I'd say. So you see, something. There's no so something. The real I is here, but real Vajrayana center. You know, hearing from real Mickey Mouse, called Lama Zopa. So you see, all this is not that. So we've been believing real, which is not there. Everything which is not there. If you check, cannot find it. So whatever we see here, form, sound, smell, taste, all these lights and all this, that you see me, I see you, and whatever, all the paintings. This is real, everything real, it's not there. What exists in my name is there, but that exists, that functions, that not the real part, no. That's total like mirage, like dream, like illusion. So I started getting wrong. So